Chaika, The Coffin Princess is a Japanese light novel series written by Ichirō Sakaki and illustrated by Namaniku ATK. As of April 19, 2014, 9 volumes have been published by Fujimi Shobo under their Fujimi Fantasia Bunko imprint. It has been adapted into 3 manga series. An anime adaptation was announced on July 2013 and aired from April 9, 2014 to June 25, 2014. A second season will begin airing on October 2, 2014. Plot: 5 years ago, the 200-year-long war between the Alliance of Six Nations and the Gaz Empire came to an end when Emperor Arthur Gaz, the immortal emperor of the Gaz Empire, was finally killed by 8 warriors known as the 8 Heroes. After the war, the Empire's lands were divided by the Alliance, who later formed the Council of Six Nations to bring peace and order to the land. In the present, Toru Akira is a former saboteur who lives with his sister Akari. Toru is unable to settle in this peaceful era as there is no demand for his saboteur skills and he sees no meaning in his life. While out foraging in the forest, Toru and Akari encounter Chaika, a white-haired girl with a white headband who claims to be a wizard and save her from a man-eating unicorn. Taking note of their skills as saboteurs, Chaika hires Toru and Akari for an important task. She is trying to gather the scattered remains of Arthur Gaz from the 8 Heroes, which is why she is traveling with a coffin. Chaika reveals that she is actually Princess Chaika Gaz, the former emperor's daughter, who managed to escape in the chaos following her father's death and wishes to find her father's remains, so that he may be given a proper burial. However, the trio will face difficulties as the emperor's remains were divided amongst the 8 Heroes. In addition, his body parts emit strong magical energy which can be harnessed, making them very valuable. Furthermore, Chaika is being pursued by the post-war Kleeman agencies Gillette Corps, who have been tasked with capturing Chaika as it is feared that her existence will serve as a rallying point for Gaz loyalists and the possible rebirth of the Gaz Empire, not to mention that the sheer power of Arthur's reunited remains might reignite the war. To top matters off, the protagonists are being targeted by other groups, all of them led by girls who also claim to be Chaika Gaz. Thus begins Toru, Chaika and Akari's journey throughout the continent. Characters: Main characters, Toru Akira, voiced by Junji Majima, a saboteur from the village of Akira. After the downfall of the Gaz Empire and the return of peace, he has lost his way of life. When introduced, he is jobless and poor and initially mistaken by Chaika to be a bandit attempting to rob her. However, they inadvertently encounter a unicorn and they work together to defeat it. He has the power of the mysterious iron blood transformation that when activated turn his hair red and cause crimson markings to appear on his body. He wields 2 short sword blades that have retractable wires at their hilts. While he tries to keep their relationship as client and master, Toru soon develops feelings for Chaika. Chaika, voiced by Chaika Anzai, the titular character of the series. A young wizard who lugs around a giant coffin. She is the princess of the Gaz Empire and the last surviving member of its royal family. She's also sensitive about the thickness of her eyebrows. She speaks a broken and disjointed form of the common language but is fluent in Lork, the language of the Gaz Empire. After their close encounter with the unicorn, she becomes friends with Toru and his sister Akari. Her weapon is a Gundu sniper rifle, which allows her to cast high-precision spells. Over time she develops feelings for Toru. Akari Akira, voiced by Yuko Hara, Toru's sister who's unrelated to him by blood. She respects and is fond of her brother to such a degree that she gets angry at whoever speaks bad of him, even if the person is himself. Her rather bizarre levels of stupidity and radical degrees of respect for her brother can cause her to comically proclaim contradicting claims, although she admits and is perfectly fine with being an idiot. She is also able to use the iron blood transformation, however her markings do not crisscross like her brother's and are much thinner. Her weapon is a sledgehammer with a retractable handle and a spike on one side of the head. Akari does not hide the fact that she is in love with Toru and is jealous of any other girl who gets close to him. Frederica, voiced by Chiwa Saito, a dragoon, a race of magical armored dragons with the ability to shapeshift. She was formerly partnered with Dominica Scotta, a cavalier who made a pact with her during the war with the Gaz Empire in order to gain fame and riches for Dominica's younger sister, Lucy. However, after the war, Dominica discovered that Lucy was killed by the villagers she ruled after they attempted to force Lucy to sell the family's land to them. Dominica and Frederica avenged Lucy by killing the villagers responsible, but Dominica soon died, having lost the will to live with her sister's death. Due to the close bond they shared, Frederica has been unable to forget her former master and has taken on Dominica's form and has been living as Dominica. After losing a battle with Toru's group, she takes on the form of a Lucy Scotta in honor of her master's sister. She also joins Toru's group on their adventures with a new goal: to engage Toru in a fight to the death, although Toru continually postpones their fight, claiming that he must first accomplish his mission to assemble Emperor Gaz's remains for Chaika. Later, after destroying the Sora, Frederica proposes that Toru make a pact with her so that he can become a Dragoon Cavalier. Kleeman Agency, the post-war Reconstruction Implementation Agency, or more commonly called Kleeman Agency, is a multinational organization tasked with supporting the post-war reconstruction. The organization also includes of small field units such as the Gillette Corps and the Campana Corps, whose duty is the capture of bandits and other criminals. Konrad Steinmetz, voiced by Tetsuo Kanao, the head of the Kleeman Agency. The Council of Six Nations do not heed Konrad's warnings that Chaika Gaz is still alive. They consider reports of her continued existence nothing more than a myth. Karen Bombardier, voiced by Naomi Uzura, Konrad's assistant. Gillette Corps, a division of the Kleeman Agency who were tasked in capturing Chaika. Alvrik Gillette, voiced by Yoshimasa Hosoya, the leader of the Gillette Corps. A cavalier from a noble family, he wishes to stop Chaika Trobant's quest of reclaiming Arthur's remains, which he fears might lead to another war. However, after learning Trobant's reasons for her quest and the lack concrete information about Emperor Arthur from official sources, he starts to have doubts about his mission. When the floating fortress Stratus is sent by the Council of Six Nations to destroy the floating fortress Sora, Alvrik tries to stop the Council forces from attacking as his comrades Vivi and Zeta are still trapped inside the Sora. However, he is supposedly killed when a magic beam from the Sora attacks the Council forces. Nikolai Avtata, voiced by Kansuke Sata, mercenary and the second in command of the Gillette Corps. Vibi Holopinin, voiced by Iori Namizal, a orange-haired assassin who's in love with Alvrik. Her weapons are throwing needles. Vivi and Zeta were sent inside the floating fortress of Sora after its ruler, Duke Gavani, rebelled against the Six Nations. She reluctantly forms a temporary alliance with Toru so that both groups can escape the Sora, but upon returning to the Gillette Corps and learning of Alvrik's supposed death, Vivi becomes mad with grief. As she screams in anguish, her hair and eyes turn white and purple respectively, revealing Vivi to be another Chaika. Zeta Brushesko, voiced by Yumha Da, a green-haired female wizard who is good at handling machines and drives April, the core magic vehicle. Like Vivi, she too has a crush on Alvrik but is willing to support her friend. When she and Vivi were trapped in the Sora, they form an alliance with Toru and his group despite Vivi's objections, believing it to be the best chance for both groups to escape. Matthias Calloway, voiced by Shota Morishima, a male wizard who can control creatures. Leonardo Stoller, voiced by Kazutemi Yamamoto, a catboy demi-human and the corporation's spy. During the war, demi-humans like Leonardo were created to perform dangerous tasks that humans wouldn't do. Since the war has ended, many humans look down on his race. Because Alvrik treats him like an equal, Leonardo has a deep respect for him. He is constantly coming up with theories as to why there are more than one Chaikas. His current theories suggest that are all half-sisters whose mothers were the emperor's many wives. Chaika Borchden's group, Chaika Borchden, voiced by Saiko Zaga, also claiming to be Emperor Gaz's daughter. Chaika Borchden is very similar in appearance to Chaika Trobant, even speaking in broken and disjointed form of the common language but fluent in Lorc. However, the red Chaika has several differences that distinguish her from the white Chaika, including red clothes, a shorter hair, a more developed body and her choice of weapon, a snake sword. Finally, her main difference is her goal. While Chobun wants to collect the remains of her father to give them a proper burial, Bochten intends to enact revenge upon the 8 heroes who killed him and restore the empire. She takes an interest on Toru and attempts to have him and his sister join her cause, but they turn her down after she reveals she intends to kill the Chaika in their company as she claims there can only be one Chaika Gaz in this world. David, voiced by Kiyoshi Katsunuma, David is Chaika Bochten's companion. He fights with a spear. Selma Kenworth, voiced by Sarah Emmy Bridcut, Selma is Chaika Bochten's companion. She is a wizard who uses a Gundu sniper rifle in the anime. Sora, the floating fortress, Layla, voiced by Yui Makino, also known as Blue Chaika, she is the mastermind behind Ricardo and Count Guard's actions who intends to ignite a new war. Originally created to assemble Arthur Gaz's remains, just like the other Chaikas, Layla made use of her knowledge of chemistry and wits to enthrall rich men to do her bidding, until she discovered that neither she nor the other Chaikas are real. As a result, she abandoned her original mission, and chose to take revenge for being manipulated by plunging the continent into renewed conflict. Using the power of Arthur Gaz's left leg and the floating fortress, Sora, Layla's group attempts to start a war by destroying Cadwell, the capital of the Wamak Kingdom, but her plans are foiled by Toru's group and the Gillette Corps. She later reveals the truth to Chaika, who at first refuses to believe her. When Chaika attempts to escape with Arthur's left leg after the Sora sinks to the bottom of a lake, Layla attempts to kill her, angry that Chaika chose to accept the truth and continue her quest. She is distracted by Guy, allowing Chaika to shoot her with her magic rifle. Injured, Layla decides to stay behind and comfort a dying Ricardo, choosing to die together. Ricardo Gavani, voiced by Megumi Agata, the youngest son of Duke Gavani. A sadistic young man, he enjoys killing and carving his victims. He killed his family and used his father's name to obtain one part of Arthur Gaz's remains and secretly took control of the floating fortress, Sora, with the help of Layla and Grad. He later fights Toru only to be seriously injured by the veteran saboteur. Before succumbing to his wounds as the Sora sinks to the bottom of a lake, he apologizes to Layla for not fulfilling her dream but is glad to be with her. Grad Lancia, voiced by Hiroki Tachi, a wizard and Ricardo's assistant. A former veteran of the Gaz Empire War, he wishes to reignite the war so he can continue his forbidden experiments. Using his mind control spells, he helps Ricardo and Layla gather the minions they need to control the Sora. When the Sora is damaged by a suicide attack by the Stratus, Grad is killed by Akari. 8 heroes, the 8 warriors who killed Emperor Arthur Gaz and split his body among them. Roberto Abarth, voiced by Takaya Hashi, ruler of the town of Delcerant. Despite coming from a cavalier family, Roberto became a wizard after he injured his sword arm. His Gander is his mansion and can control objects in it by using Arthur Gaz's left hand as its power source. Dominica Scotta, voiced by Chiwa Saito, a dragoon cavalier and ruler of Ipsum. She had Arthur Gaz's eyes. Coming from a proud but poor cavalier family, Dominica joined the war hoping to gain titles and riches for herself and her beloved younger sister, Lucy, so that she would have a better life. To increase her chances, she made a pact with the dragoon Frederica, which blossomed into a very close bond. However, upon her return home after the war, Dominica discovered that Lucy had been murdered by the villagers they ruled who had attempted to force Lucy to sell off Scotta lands to them. In her grief and anger, Dominica and Frederica killed all of the villagers responsible for Lucy's death. With her sister dead, Dominica lost the will to live and died. However, unable to forget her master, Frederica took Dominica's form and pretended to be her. In the anime, Dominica dies from an illness after the war. Simon Scania, voiced by Hiroyuki Kinoshita, a wizard from the kingdom of Koenigsegg, he kept Arthur Gaz's right leg. After the war, he was betrayed by his best friend and wife and left to die. In anger, Simon created a fog machine fueled by Arthur's leg which causes those affected to see illusions of their loved ones betraying them, so they would feel the pain he felt. When Toru and his group finally destroy the machine, they discover Simon has been dead for a long time. In the anime, Simon is discovered to still be alive but he has gone mad. Others, Arthur Gaz, the Emperor of the Gaz Empire. Arthur was a genius who created new technologies and magic that modernized the continent. Despite this, he was despised and feared by others, which led to a 200-year-long war between the Six Nations and the Gaz Empire. Due to his magic, Arthur was practically immortal and had lived for around 500 years before he was killed by the 8 heroes. His body was later divided among the 8 heroes since they produced potent magic. Guy, voiced by Amy Moraes, a mysterious young man who gives Chaika and information on the whereabouts of Arthur's remains. He appears as a hologram and helps Chaika and her companions' quest. Jasmine Orlo, voiced by Akane Koinata, a traveling merchant who associated with the saboteurs of Akira Village. Toru and Akari knew her when they were younger and saw her as a big sister. Jasmine taught Toru to see himself not as a weapon of war but rather as a human who could help make the world better. One night, Jasmine and her caravan, including her parents and husband, were attacked by bandits. A young Toru tried to rescue Jasmine and her newborn baby but he was too late and he found them dying from their wounds. To avenge her death, the villagers of Akira hunted Jasmine's killers, then hanged them and desecrated their corpses. Jasmine's teachings and death left a deep impact on Toru. Light novels, anime, a 2-season anime adaptation was made by Bones, which the first season aired in Japan from April 9, 2014 to June 25, 2014. For the first season, the opening theme song was Darukina by Iora Inamiza and the ending theme song was Kairaka Genri by Coffin Princess, which is composed of 3 of the anime's voice actresses, Chaika Anzai, Saiko Zaga and Yui Makino. The first season has been licensed for digital and home video release by Sentai Filmworks. Episode list, references. External links, official light novel website on Fujimi Shobo, official anime website, Chaika, The Coffin Princess at Anime News Network's Encyclopedia.